Well, welcome to the series about Rugby League Bet Review for Game 2 in the World Club Series this weekend. This time it's Broncos visit the DW to take on Wigan. Obviously a repeat of last year's game when Broncos won Golden Point extra time. A fantastic game, you might remember it well, with Anthony Gelling charging down the Golden Point penalty after they're given for the strip, and obviously got a yellow card, but when the kick was under the post, it was obviously going to go over. And last year, the Broncos had quite a few players out, but they picked a full strength side just about for this one. Obviously Wayne Bennett coming over. He's probably the big news of the game. Obviously, the New England coach coming over with his Broncos side. We'll see how they get on. It was quite funny last year because I think after 80 minutes, I think he shook hands with the Wigan bench and not realising there was actually extra time. But I don't think he'll make that same mistake again if that happens. But yeah, they look very strong, the Broncos. Pretty much quite lucky. So you could say they're taking this seriously, but it is still pre-season. I mean, Wigan pretty much the same side that played against Huddersfield. They've had two scrappy wins, even by Sean Wayne's admission. I mean, they were very, very scratchy Huddersfield side. They had a lot of injuries, and Wigan just managed to beat them in the end with a Charlie try, didn't they? But so there'll be no Tompkins brothers. I think Williams will come back into the side. He was in the squad last week, but he got injured, so he didn't play against Huddersfield. But I do think he'll come back in. So both teams getting near a full strength. It should be really good. But again, we do have to question the commitment of the Australian sides. I mean, this is even the World Club Challenge itself. We've always questioned how big a game for them it was. It's always a pre-season game, so you certainly in these ones you have. Obviously, I'm filming this before the Sydney Roosters game against St Helens, so we don't know how the Roosters got on, how seriously they took the game. So this could probably completely prove me wrong, but we do have to question that. It's a lot closer in the betting as well this time around. We're going to get 4 points on the handicap. Obviously, last night Saints got 8 on the handicap. I do fancy Wigan to actually win this game. They're about 6-5 to win it, and you can get about 7-4 half time, full time. But obviously these, you're very, very sure it's one of these games where no real result would be much of a surprise. So, but I do fancy Wigan at about 6-5. But for me, I'd sooner take the insurance of the 4 points on the handicap at 10-11. If the game finishes a tie or the Broncos win by a penalty, you still get paid out. Obviously, if last year the game finishes a tie and the Broncos win in extra time, the game is a tie officially. For handicap purposes, the extra time wouldn't count in that as it does in football. But I certainly don't fancy the 4-6 Broncos. Like I said, that can be boosted to about 5-4. You take them on the half time, full time. But I do fancy Wigan this time. I think out of the three games between Australia and the English clubs this time, I think Wigan probably got the best chance of winning. And like I say, I don't know what happened last night, so that it could be wrong already. But I do a bit worried for the Rhinos tomorrow against the Cowboys with all the injuries they've got. So I do think Wigan got the best chance. But they're just 4-6 for a Brisbane side. That's not really for me. Like I say, you can get 13-10. We've got to be careful in games like this. Something like a 6-10 point Wigan win. That's about 11-10, 11-2. That's kind of where I'd be looking in this one. As for the first tries for our bets, I mean, obviously, these are always dominated by the wingers. I know that, you still get an 8, 9, 10 to 1 for a winger for a favourite because obviously such an inflated market. There's so many players on the field who could score the first try. But I think, as with last week, we tipped up McGilvery to score the first try and he did. I mean, Charlie scored the last try. We like to pick one from each side here. And, I'd probably go with Manfredi at 9 to 1 for Wigan. I love this guy. He's a brilliant finisher. He's a big beast for a winger, that's for certain. Probably is for me the best finisher in Super League, and he's about 9 to 1, which is a bit better than the 8 to 1 for Charlie. So that's kind of where I'd be looking for Wigan. And obviously again with the Broncos, you've got Corey Oates at 7 to 1 and James Roberts at 8 to 1. But I mean, why have a bit look at Englishman Greg Egan at about 10 to 1 for the first try? That's not bad value at all. He's in the side. He's doing okay over there, So I would say maybe some of my first try scores, you're probably looking at Manfredi and Greg Egan. And finally, man in the match. Well, you got Anthony Milford's a very, very short 4 to 1, and Corey Parker at 7. So just in a game like this, I don't really fancy the Broncos. Certainly couldn't be looking at a 4 to 1 man of the match. Maybe someone like Darius Boyd about 18 to 1. That could be where I'd be looking for the Broncos. And as for Wigan, our man being very popular with us is 14s, but you've got Williams and Smith 8 to 1. They're the two shortest priced Wigan players. But for me, it's kind of it's not just about who the best player on the pitch is. You've got to be looking at who the Sky team are going to give the man of the match award to. And sometimes, they can pick some obscure players. Now, it's usually someone that's in the limelight. And obviously, with Wayne Bennett coming in, and obviously O'Loughlin's going to be his captain, he will certainly be at the forefront of the commentators' minds, O'Loughlin. So the eyes will be on him, being England captain with the England new coach there. I think at 14-1, I think he would be my value bet of the game. O'Loughlin to be man of the match. I do fancy Wigan. That's kind of where we're looking at him. He's a fantasy, probably for me. I know people argue with this, but for me, probably is the best English player out there. O'Loughlin. Okay, he's getting on a bit now. He has had his problems with injuries, but they seem to be getting behind him now. He played a lot of games in the playoffs and all the way to the grand final last year. So he's not missed many since it's about June time last year, June July. So that's kind of what you're looking on man of the match. You've got to look towards who the guys are going to give it to, not necessarily the best player on the pitch. And like I say, I do think that he will be in the spotlight because of Wayne Bennett being there and because he's the captain and he's going to keep the job. So 14-1 definitely. But like I say, probably Boyd again. It'd be Boyd and O'Loughlin with my two choices for man of the match. It's a market we've done very well in lately. But actually, this should be a good game. It's certainly not a game to go mad on. None of the three results would really surprise you, but I do just fancy Wigan. Like I say, my value bet would be O'Loughlin for man of the match. And I would like to say,